Idiot.
All right, we're back with episode 3 of the tour journal, breaking down all of our tours from the tour journal and reminiscing and telling some stories about what happened. We're going to change the format a little bit, but we'll just dive right into it, I guess. So to start her off, we got a very special tour to all of us. I think that's the first Township tour that we ever did. We were on tour with them from March 6th of 2015 through March 14th. We played in Mankato, Minnesota, Minneapolis, Fargo, North Dakota, Harrisburg, South Dakota, Omaha, Nebraska, Des Moines, Iowa, Rockford, Illinois, and Madison, Wisconsin. I know there's like a bunch of info or a bunch of things that happened during that tour. Anything you guys want to remember and talk about?
It was our first tour with Township.
Yeah.
And Spencer was in the van with us, which was a ton of fun. Spencer Newland Bellinger, he's like one of our good friends.
It's always a treat when he tags along.
Yeah. He's come on a number of tours with us, including our first, if we didn't mention that the first time we talked about it.
My first note is the very first show we played was Bender's. So like after Turkey Fest, we played a few shows at Bender's, and that was the kickoff for the tour. We played with a band called Tenenbaums, which we later played with in South Dakota at a really crappy show, which we'll get to. I don't know if that's this year.
That's this tour, isn't it?
That's this tour. Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's this tour.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Phoenix
okay.
Lounge, yeah.
All right. So we'll get to it. And
we
then
played we played a really cool fest in Minneapolis. Kind of a legendary house venue there, the Coma Cabana. I think it was like a 2-day fest or something. I think Hunter sold tickets to it.
Cabana Fest.
Some notable, Cabana Fest. Some notable bands that played were like Dowsing, Free Throw, Us. So,
and that's what we call day 1 of our 2-day tour with Dowsing.
Yeah, that's right. Because we played with them. We played with them a second time with Free Throw and Dowsing in Fargo the very next day.
Yeah.
So.
And that show in Fargo is great. I mean, Fargo holds a special place in our heart, and that was one of the first shows we got to play there. Is that the first show we ever played there?
I think it is.
Yeah, that's a memorable moment.
That's when we met Galesburg, and I think we'll get into our Galesburg run on this particular episode. But kind of an interesting. Oh, we met Galesburg.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the after we played in Fargo, the show after that is Harrisburg, South Dakota, and that's the kind of not so great show that we were referencing from before. I don't know if anybody wants to make the notes on this, but
I can certainly give it a shot.
Yeah.
Just imagine an empty bar. It's like midnight, and it's an empty bar, and it's been empty for some time, and a guy with a crocodile skin hat covering his face is playing. He's the only one on stage, and he's covering Rob Zombie songs with the live. It's Rob Zombie live playing over the mains.
Yeah, he's got like backing tracks.
And dude with the cowboy, he's got the crocodile skin cowboy hat, and he's just ripping.
He was shredding. Yeah, he was shredding. He was good.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. It was really hard to watch.
Yeah, and he did it forever. It was like close to an hour.
Like twice as long as anybody else, right?
Yeah, it was rough.
And then that same night was the night that we were driving, and Spencer is laying on the bunk, and it's late, and I got the music going, and all of a sudden we get, "Hey, I have a headache."
Classic.
Which he never lived it down. Like every time he was annoying us, we would just, "Hey!" and it was a pretty good inside joke for the rest of the run.
Yeah, and then the other quick note is, like we've kind of referenced this before, when you're doing DIY tours, playing basically wherever you can play with whoever you can play with, money becomes a topic of discussion because you want to make gas money. Like you don't want to have to pay out of pocket. And so, when you play a bad show like that and nobody was there, you're kind of like, well, we're not getting paid anything and we're not selling any merch because nobody's there. But I remember at the end of the night, Matt from Township went up to the bar owner and he came back with a check that was like $150 or something like that. Yep. And we were like, yeah, we did it.
Yeah, yeah, we got like a ton of money.
Yeah, because that was probably the most we gotten paid for a single show. I mean, obviously we split it. You have to split two bands because there's two bands, but that was the most we had gotten paid for a show, and there was nobody there. So it wasn't a complete bust. It was a rough show. We got gas
one of my
money.
favorite.
That's how it goes.
Shows, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember when we got there, we had to wait for a pool tournament to be over before we could play.
Right.
That's like just right away. You just know.
So we didn't. I don't think the show didn't start until like 10 o'clock.
It was late. It was super late.
Yeah. And nobody was there.
And then the next time.
What's that?
Go for it.
Oh, I don't know if we were done talking about that show.
Done.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Then we another good memory from that run was the Omaha Zoo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the next show was in Omaha.
We had an off day. We went to the Omaha Zoo, and it was super cool. It was Justin's suggestion, and it was worth it. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and
we got super close with Township that day, especially. I think
we really did.
Yeah, because that's where we got a hotel, and we were hanging out in the pool and just goofing
off.
Oh yeah, that was super fun.
About the hotel.
Yeah, it's because we got paid.
Yeah. We drove to Omaha that night, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we didn't stay, and we drove to Omaha that night, got a hotel, hung out in the pool, went to the zoo. It was a good time. Played the Down Under in Omaha. I remember there being like hot dogs for us at the show. That's one of the only memorable things for me.
I don't think any of us ate the hot dogs though.
I did not.
I think they look disgusting.
I remember one of the bands.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
They were just like crock pot hot dogs.
That whole bar was disgusting.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, they were literally sitting in their own water the entire show. There was one dude that rapped with his pop punk band.
Oh, that's right.
That was pretty amazing.
The show after that was Des Moines, which was our first time in Des Moines, right?
Yeah,
I believe. Yeah.
Big tour of firsts.
Yep.
Yeah,
I've always
I remember there was a bung track. Well, it's in the notes too. There's a bung track set at the end of that show, and I remember because the show was great, right? It was a really good show.
It was really good. The rock shop was cool, yeah.
Yeah, and every band was like phenomenal. And then at the end of the night, Molly's Worst Enemy, like they like rearranged themselves to be a Rage Against the Machine cover set, and they played this like ridiculous set. Like it got silly in there quick. Like everybody was throwing and it was wild.
Yeah, and then the only other note I have for that is Tyler Stodchill from Stars Hollow was in Porch Swing. So that was the first time meeting him. And Jesse Ledbetter booked the show, so we met him for the first time. And we connected with those guys, and still friends. Shout out Jesse Ledbetter, Patreon supporter.
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
This has nothing to do with anything, but it is something that has been burned into my memory forever. That same night, we stayed with somebody in Ames. I don't know if it was at Jesse's apartment or not.
I think it was.
But we stayed at this apartment, and we got there and we were like, oh, we probably smell sorry. And they're like, no, you guys are fine. And then I took my boots off, and then all of a sudden the dude was like, you know what? Yeah, like something really does smell like throat. And I'm like, and it was probably my feet. And I felt
it was definitely your feet.
I've never forgotten it. I've been anxious about my foot smell ever since that day. That day. Like I carry spare socks all the time.
When you wear boots, it kind of comes with the territory. It just seals in the flavor,
The flavor.
Yeah. We stay in an apartment with them, and then the next place we played.
I was the Hipster House.
Like we met, what's his name? Paul Schaefer
Lol.
in Rockford.
Oh,
It's our first time playing in Rockford.
Yeah.
Well, in the Hipster House,
That's
now that I
pretty big deal
remember
for
it,
us.
because
First time Rockford,
and we ran into Molly's Worst Enemy again. They were on like a different tour, and I mean, because I'm the one booking the shows, I'm kind of aware of where bands are playing and stuff. And I kept seeing the Hipster House come up, and it was like in my mind, I was like, "Oh, this is a really cool place to play." And we got to play.
It was our second show in a row with.
Yeah, and it was a really good show. I remember there being a lot of people there.
Yeah,
had a good time. Yeah, met Paul, who is now Lowell Schaefer, from Frail Body, and
that's right.
Yeah, and he put us up and has
that night.
Yeah, he put us up and has booked us since a few times. So yeah, that was sweet. Fixed my guitar when I broke it when I threw it into a drum set.
That's awesome.
Shout out Lowell. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the next day we played in Madison. That was the last day of that tour.
Yeah. And that was like, I think in my mind at that time, if I'm remembering correctly, at that time in our short time as a band, that was like the highest moment because it was a really good venue, great sound. We got paid well.
Does anyone have that live recording of us playing that show? Wasn't there a live video?
Yeah, there's some
definitely a
stuff
live
on
video
YouTube.
somewhere.
Like I think you can find it if you go on YouTube.
Yeah, you can find it on YouTube. At least one of the songs.
All right, cool.
Yeah, and Circus Fires was super good that we played with. Yeah, and there were people there, so it was just like we played a legit like big venue, big stage.
Yeah, like the last band I remember seeing like playing there was Foxing and Now, and that was like a year ago, or a little over a year ago. So it's like a legit venue. Like that's what I'm trying to say. It's like you can pack a lot of people in there, and it's got good sound. So yeah, pretty cool that we got to play there.
Absolutely.
And they wouldn't let us back.
I have a very specific memory of Nikki Miami's mom in the front row crying when they were playing their set because she was like so hyped because it was a really good show.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was the last night of that tour, right?
Correct.
And then we just hoofed it back to old Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yep. After that, we played a couple of one-offs around Minnesota. Got to play with some cool bands from that area, including Remo, who we've already mentioned. We got to play with Pet Symmetry at one point. That was really cool. That was like a matinee show.
Yeah, Mayday matinee. I remember that.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was cool.
The other note I want to make is that we played with Anzio, which was Lowell Schaefer's band after we had just met them. So it's like kind of cool just making those connections and then running into each other like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
Yep. And then so the next tour we did was July 10th through the 13th. We played in Mounds View, Minnesota, Muscatine, Iowa, Galesburg, Iowa, and Mankato, Minnesota. So we did that little tour. Like I think originally we thought it was going to be a tour with Galesburg and Township, but Township bailed like last second, or maybe they were never really going to play it or something. Something like that
happened. Well, they've always had some member, drummer bass filling out issues. So I think that was one of the things.
But yeah, we hopped on the first few dates of that Galesburg tour. That was cool. All I really remember from that is getting to play with a band called Closet Witch, which was really cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, no. We didn't. Sorry, I'm not sure if we got to actually play with them. I think we played at their house.
Yep.
That's right.
That's what it was.
Met them.
Yep, in Muscatine.
We just met them.
And they were so nice. And we didn't know who they
super
were.
Nice people. Yeah.
We didn't know. And then we met them, super nice. We played with them a little bit after that too, and incredible band. Yeah.
Yeah.
We also played with a band called Dorado, which we kind of maintained contact with those dudes for quite a bit.
Oh yeah, they're great.
They were super. They were like a really cool kind of like stick to your gunsy type of thing, right? Like, do you guys remember them at all?
Yeah, like
yeah,
hardcore.
like set your goalsy. Yeah,
yeah.
Either whatever. They were good. They were good. Yeah.
I can't remember what I said, but I remember that run was also the same run. So before we left, we didn't have like a tour van or anything like that, and so the day we were leaving for what was it, Mounds View, I spent the whole afternoon fixing the brakes on John's truck. He
took my
Chevy
truck, the Ford Ranger. Holy crap!
That was Cruston, the birth of Cruston.
It was like an S10, right?
Oh, it's a Ford Ranger.
And so we were driving around in this. It was a Ford Ranger. Okay, It was like this Ford Ranger with like this tiny back seat, and Justin and Christian are like mushed together in the back of it. I think we had a trailer, right? We were hauling the trailer.
Yeah, we had the little trailer.
And then some we broke down on our way back to Minnesota, and we basically spent the night in the bed of your truck.
Yep.
In the middle of Iowa, and some dude fixed it.
Yeah.
What was wrong with it? It was
temperature gauge overheating or something like that.
Yeah. And I remember I had to like work the next day and stuff too. Like I still had to go to work before we went to the show at the Cherry Pit that night. Like, oh my God. Yeah.
It was that was a rough trek home. And then on our way back, we had to play in Mankato still. And that was right. That was the last. Yeah, that was the last Cherry Pit show.
That's right.
Oh yeah,
and that was also the show that we shot the video for Sylvia at.
Oh my God!
Yeah, which is I still love that music video. So if you haven't watched it, go
absolutely
check it out.
Yeah, I guess side note there. At some point in between the Township tour and the Galesburg tour, we would have recorded alternate translation, I think.
Yeah.
So
we would have. Yeah.
I think it was must have been June. That would have been the only, or later in May. Yeah. We recorded that with Sam Sturck in Wisconsin.
It was early May.
Yeah. Due to Township's recommendation, and it worked out wonderfully.
In like a retired YMCA or something, right? What building was that?
Yeah, it was just like an old
middle school.
Yeah.
Old middle school.
It's kind of converted into like a community center, and then he had like space that he rented out there. It was really cool space. It was sweet.
It was sweet. It was very cool.
Yeah.
Good memory.
Very cool. Very cool. So yeah, we finished up that Galesburg tour. That was kind of like defeating, I think. Not like super defeating, but car troubles. Rough. The shows were like I don't know. It was whatever. It was like a weekend run. I think it was just like really cramped in the back of that truck. I remember
that was hard. It was hard.
Being stuck back there.
It wasn't a comfortable time.
No, and then the breaking down kind of took the air out of it at the end. But ending at the last Cherry Pit show was nice.
Yeah.
So after that weekend run, played a couple more one-offs. We played in St. Cloud, played in Minneapolis again. I'm totally glossing over it. August 2nd was our alternate translation release show at the Como Cabana with Township and Goodnight Gorillas. So that was pretty cool. There were a lot of people there.
That was a ton of fun.
Kind of like a memorable day for us, especially because I may be misremembering this. We hadn't moved to the Twin Cities yet, right?
No, we had not.
We don't move to the Twin Cities for another year.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool to like play our release show there because like it was like our like entering into like that scene of things, kind of. It was cool for me. Anyway,
Yeah.
Cool. So the next tour we did was August 15th through September 4th. So a little bit about that. That would have been like our alternate translation, like release tour type of thing, I think, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how we were treating it. And we took Jackie Martinez along with us to do photography. So that was really cool.
It was a long tour.
It was a really
the
long
longest
tour.
we've done to date.
Did we tour with anybody?
No.
I think Township came along for a little bit.
Yeah, I think we like kind of met up with some people for a little bit.
We played like 5 dates with them.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
oh,
I think they
what
were
it was? We played like 5 dates with Township at the beginning, and then we met up with them for like 3 shows at the end. And I remember having a conversation with Matt where he goes, like, he says, dude, we played a tour with you guys, and then you've been gone since then. Like, we've gone home and worked and like done things and just like lived our lives, and now you guys are just getting back and we're doing it again with you. You know, like,
that's right.
That's how long it was. Like, it was like 3 weeks, over 3 weeks.
At that time, longest tour.
So yeah, we were on tour for a while there. We played in Minneapolis, Morris, Minnesota, Fargo, North Dakota, Des Moines, Kansas City, St. Louis, Columbus, Indiana, Columbus, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, Howell, Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Elburn, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and Stevens Point, Wisconsin. So, yeah. Part of the reason that tour feels so long, though, is because in between Kansas City and St. Louis, we had 4 days off.
We did. Yeah. We went to the Finger Lakes.
That's part of it.
That was the Finger Lakes.
Yeah.
Finger Lakes.
This was a good tour for me as far as memories go. Like, I had a really good time.
It was super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we were in Troy's van, right?
Yeah, we did take Troy's van.
That's
Shout out Troy Aslan for that.
Shout out Troy Aslan, yeah.
Which in Morris, that's where he was going to school, so we played with his band there.
Yep.
Yeah.
At the platform,
and we had car trouble on the way to Morris, didn't we?
That sounds probably par for the
course. We got to Morris, we had to get the van worked on, and we were like 1 day in.
Yeah.
We developed a good relationship with the Morris people throughout our career too. Like, we kind of went back there a few times, you know.
Yeah, friends to this day type of thing. Like you notice the first handful of dates are places we played, and then we get a bunch of firsts in there, like Kansas City and St. Louis, and basically everything after that is starting to be first territory until we start making our way back home. So that's kind of notable about this tour.
Yeah. Do we meet Ryan Kerr on this tour for the first time?
I believe.
Yeah, Malort Mansion. Yep.
Yeah. That's my first time ever hearing about Malort too.
Yep.
And I could have lived without.
That's another Lowell Schaefer, hookup.
Yeah.
Was that?
Yeah.
Well, I love playing there. That was fun.
I'll say, just to reiterate the Ryan Kerr thing, like, that dude, like, he and I talk on the phone, like, to this day. So.
Same. Yeah, love him.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's texted me a couple
nice
of
guy.
times.
Yeah.
I wanted to real quick remember Friendship Alley.
Yep. Notable.
Columbus, Indiana. That was like, what a strange.
That was great.
Memory, because like we were literally playing outside in a random alley in the middle of like downtown Columbus, Indiana, and Slow Coin was like the big draw for the night, and they were like that kind of like crust punk, like Dad! They had that song Dad beat Dad.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
it was a cool show too.
It was super wild.
We stayed with them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we went hiking before the show. That was fun. At least I did. That was fun.
I remember Columbus, Indiana being super, like, I didn't know nothing about it, but it was like, there was a lot of cool architecture that stuck out to me. And we walked around.
Artsy small town.
Yeah.
There was like a really cool sculpture tour.
Yeah.
Downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you said, it was the Friendship Alley. It's kind of, like an alley downtown. You didn't really, like, I kind of felt like, are we supposed to be doing this? And then everybody just played full band. It was like normal. People showed up, hung out. Like, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the tour where we met Conveyor and Ghost Key.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Jackie hooked us up with the show. Another super cool first for us on this tour was playing the Upper Room.
In Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Which, we did Take Hold Fest 2-3 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, still friends with a bunch of those people. And then Chicago, Borelli's Pizza is where we played with Ghost Key and Conveyor. And again with Anzio, so running into him again.
And Township is on that
and
show
Township,
too.
yep.
Yeah.
And then the next night we played with Conveyor again in Eau Claire. Show was super cool. We haven't
really big, yeah.
We haven't been able to play Eau Claire since. I've always tried. Well, I think I don't think we have been able to play Eau Claire since.
Oh yeah, I had a good time with that show.
Maybe like a house show, but
cool.
Yeah. And then we wrapped it up at the Veggie House, Stevens Point.
Wrapped it up at the Veggie House.
Stevens Point.
Yeah. Solid tour there. I think we all made a lot of good memories. Had a lot of fun with Jackie.
Absolutely.
So that was good.
I think that was like we had just released the record, and that was one of the first tours we were like, oh, this is kind of a success. I think we either broke even or made a little bit of money because we had CDs and merch to sell and stuff.
Right.
And some of the shows were really good. We got to play with a lot of really good bands, a lot of people at some of the shows. So yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
I remember getting home from that tour thinking, like, let's go. Like, let's keep going. I mean, I was relieved to get home, but it was also like, oh man, like what an experience.
Yep. So after that, we got to play Household's Time Spent release. Their release show at the Fallout Urban Arts Center. That was on October 23rd. That was with Remo Drive, supportive parents. Super awesome. It's a good time.
It's a good show. Packed house.
Lots of people. It was really cool that like they would ask us to play that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt like it was a big deal.
Yep. Honored.
And especially because like at that time, like they were starting to get like quite a bit of push.
Yeah, they were doing really good.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was really cool. After that, did a weekend run, played in Morris, Minnesota and Duluth, Minnesota with Remo Drive. So that was really cool. There's like a really cool picture of Remo and us taking a pic, like overlooking Duluth somewhere. It's like a really cool looking picture. That's from that, I'm pretty sure.
I remember that was my first time in Duluth, and I think we had a great time just walking around the streets, and we played like a small art studio, and it was cool. Yeah.
We went to Pizza Luce, didn't we? We went to Pizza Luce.
We ran into Jesse Lynch while we were there.
That's right.
We've run into him a few times on tour.
Yeah, that's true. We have.
Yeah.
Also, we played with that band. I gotta point this band out. Purple. You guys remember Purple and how insane?
Oh
their
yeah,
insane.
I still have their CD. It sits in my car.
Yeah,
it's really
I still have their CD too. Yeah. So Purple from Texas.
Yeah, they that was another band. I talked about this before with Cardboard Swords that like blew my mind when I was watching them.
Yeah, they really did though. They were insane.
Yeah, super cool band.
Get your mother, get your sister, get your brother, something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, you're right.
What was it?
Yeah.
House frozen.
Yeah. Alex's face is always
get
freezing.
Your mother, get your sister, get your brother, gonna get you.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. Nice. Cool. So after that, we played this one-off in Mankato at the What's Up Lounge on November 21st. The show itself probably like not that notable, but like we all hung out.
No, hey, that show was great. I remember
it was a
that
big show. There was a lot of people.
Huge.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. I looked at the bands and I was like, yeah.
Well, that was one. I remember that. I remember that because I book all these shows, so I kind of have like a mental note of like how they did, and that was one of the shows that like happened, and then the people who ran the What's Up Lounge were like, yeah, you can book whatever you want here, whatever you want, because it was a good show, and that was kind of after they had their issues with like violence and stuff, and so they were shut down for a while, had a bad rap, and so that was a really good show that they kind of needed. And I met my wife there, for the first time. So that's kind of the big deal for me there. Yeah.
My girlfriend at the time came to that show, and I remember afterwards she was like, okay, like this was way different than what I thought it was. Like it was like, I think it was like her second time seeing us, but she was like super impressed. That not that it matters now, but yeah. Because it was a really good show. We played really well, and there was a ton of people there.
And it was hometown, so a lot of our friends, like Nick Whalen and Danny and James, and
every band playing that night was like a Mankato local band, though, so it's guaranteed to be stacked.
Yeah.
What was the purpose of was it somebody's release show or something? Like, why was it all Mankato bands playing that night?
Six Sense Mia was doing something, I think.
I don't know that because that was
it's not denoted, but
I don't remember. I can't remember why we booked that.
Was it? I know. I don't know. Was it because we were talking about the arms about how we should do a Mankato show?
I think it was. Yeah, we should do that, and because we had released our record and hadn't played Mankato yet.
Yeah,
since we released it.
Oh,
and this was probably after I did that tour with Arms, so like we were all knew each other pretty well.
Pretty good friends. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, because like on that whole tour, we didn't play a Mankato show, and we had released our record, and the release show was in Minneapolis, so I think that was part of the reasoning.
Yeah, it was a good time though.
Yeah,
for sure. Regardless,
sweet.
All right, so we played one more tour that year. That was with Pettigrew. So to start out that tour, like we played a show without Pettigrew in Minneapolis on the 29th.
Yep.
But we drove down to Kansas City to start the tour, and like we drove down there, and Pettigrew was like practicing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
For the like first time together, because it was like they had never like played together, because Josh had recorded all the instruments and Robert had done the vocals and stuff. So
yeah,
and everybody else they were like fill-ins. So
and the other connection thing with that is Jim Hughes recorded the Pettigrew record, and that's kind of how we got the recommendation from Josh to look into him for recording our next record.
Yeah, I just pulled it up on Spotify, and the Pettigrew record is on Spotify.
It's good. It's really good. I loved it. Yeah,
it's so good. Yeah, seeing them, they're one of my favorite bands to tour with, just because seeing them was so nice every night.
And
it was cool to get to know them more.
Yeah, because they were just a band of friends. Like we knew Josh from Household, but then it was Cody Espesef, who I love him. You never really see him, but he was great. And
it was Gut, right? It was Josh Check from.
No. It was Cody playing bass. It was Robert doing vocals, Josh doing vocals and playing guitar, and then Dreadlocks. Josiah playing guitar, and he is so good.
He's really good.
Amazing guitar player.
He used to fill in Hope Country, which is like an alt country band.
Which Cody did as well. Cody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, who was playing drums?
I think Gus was.
Yeah, Gut.
Yeah, I think.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, Gut was on drums. Yeah, sorry. I totally.
Wait, did I? Am I?
Yeah, idiot.
No, you're right.
I'm the idiot. Idiot.
I remember he was stoked to be able to play drums.
Yeah, that was really cool. Super cool.
It was cool listening to them practice. Like I don't know if we heard their first practice or what, but we heard it more from like, not that good to like, they can play in front of people and sound really good.
And really good, yeah.
Yeah, they were like by the end of that weekend, like they were very tight. So it was cool. So we played in Minneapolis, we played in Kansas City, we played in Des Moines, Minneapolis again, Grand Forks, North Dakota, and then we drove back home. So yeah, really good shows. They're all a lot of fun.
You know, I see here in the notes in Grand Forks, North Dakota, there was hot dogs there. I wonder if those were the hot dogs that we declined to eat.
No, these are
gourmet hot dogs.
Completely different hot dogs.
These are great hot dogs.
These were gourmet hot dogs.
Those are great hot dogs.
Yeah.
They name hot dogs after bands.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember
Okay.
I'd never been to Grand Forks before, and we kind of rolled in, kind of drove around a little bit, and then like walked over a bridge, and it was really cool
Yeah, we
downtown.
walked. What's the other side of Grand Forks? It's just Grand Forks, Minnesota, right? Yeah, I remember crossing that bridge with you, John, and it was like jeebers.
Yeah, it
Like
was
this is
well
rough.
because the wind is blowing through that
Yeah.
bridge. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
little chilly.
Oh man. We had Tim Hortons though.
Yeah, we did.
Timmy.
I remember Josh was super hyped on getting Tim Hortons. He's like, we gotta go to Tim Hortons.
Which is funny though, because they weren't in Minnesota yet. Like they weren't in Minnesota at that time.
Yo, I
Yeah.
don't think there is a Minnesota half of Grand Forks.
Is it Canada?
Like no, like it splits into Minnesota, but it's Sullivan. You know, some not even notable.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, who
Yeah,
cares?
I've never.
The only thing I remember the bridge thing of that show, and then just hanging out with Pettigrew because it was our last night with them. So I remember just like getting to talk to all them, really connecting with Robert. Yeah.
Robert, who's to this day a really good friend.
Yeah.
So.
Really good friend.
Yeah, it's cool going back and seeing like the formation of like what we would consider old friends now. You know, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, I mean, 2015. That was definitely like the year.
It's starting to feel
of a
like
lot of-
old friend territory. You know.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, this is easily, I think that's our busiest year of shows too.
So
46
far, yeah.
shows.
So far, we played 46 shows in 2015, and up until that point, that was like the most shows we'd ever played.
Right.
Felt like a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of got our feet wet for sure. Got to see a lot of different places of the country that we, for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think too, like we had learned a lot in tours previous from that, and we were able to like apply what we learned a lot more in these tours, just because like we were going to be out for longer, and like they felt more like, oh, we're doing it, like we're doing this.
It didn't feel like everything was we have to figure it out. We were kind of past that. We were like more like, all right, trying to hone in, not necessarily like a baby band anymore,
Yeah.
I remember the Township tour being very, very formidable in that too. Like that was like, I feel like the Township tour was like the breaking point of, okay, we learned some stuff and now we're like really using it. And we didn't get a chance to really like exercise any of the stuff that we had learned until like execute any of the stuff that we had learned until like the August tour, like the alternative translation tour. But once we were on that tour, I feel like we were like oof, on point, like in terms of like just how to survive and like be comfortable and have a good time. And,
yeah. The only other thing I want to note is so we kind of talked about at the beginning of this tour, like we kind of ditched the van, the big blue one that we had bought and and then we toured in my Ford Ranger pickup with Galesburg. We toured with Township. What were we in for that? Were we in Troy's van for that?
Oh, we were in John Nike's van.
Oh yeah, we were John Nike's van.
Yep.
And
then after that,
Troy's van for the alternative translation tour.
Yep.
And then
what were we driving in the fall?
Had we bought in the red van?
No.
Driving what?
I don't know. I'm trying to remember. What were we in on the Pettigrew tour?
Well, I think we're in Troy's van still.
Yeah,
he might have.
Because I remember sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also I remember driving Troy's van back to Troy and then taking Justin's car home from getting the van.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, so thank you,
We were in
Troy,
places.
for basically making
Yeah.
our 2015 happen. We went through that
Yeah.
whole year without having our own tour vehicle, and we still played 46 shows, which is
It's pretty insane.
yeah. So thank you
It's
for
crazy
everybody
to-
who let us use your vehicle. Like, couldn't have done it
What's
without
crazy to
that.
me is just
Oh, yeah.
I went to high school with Troy, and you graduate, you go separate paths, and then all of a sudden we're both in the music scene.
Yeah,
it's cool.
yeah.
Like running
Super
into each other all the time. It's nice. The only one from my high school I talked to.
Yeah.
So. Kinda
Well,
cool.
Troy's great.
Love
That.
Troy.
He's easy to talk.
Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah.
He'll
Yeah.
show up in many episodes to come.
Mm-hmm.